That is the jar of names. Wow, I still can't get used to these headphones. Actually, I'll do that in the update. I'll add that to the update. Right, anyway, I've got a name. So this video is for everyone, including, but not excluded to, Hannibal216. Right, so this is a cup of tea in a podcast. Where is the cup of tea? Here is the cup of tea for this podcast. It's right down there. Okay, so if you want to skip ahead to some parts in this episode, you can skip to a topic about E3. You can skip to the topic about TV time. You can skip to this week's question. You can also skip to this week's goals. And you can skip to this... No, you can't. This is what I'm talking about now. I always make that mistake. Yes, but shall we start off with what we had last week and what we got this week? Okay, so last week we had a Cup of Tea podcast, episode 46, 15th of the 6th, 2015, Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, episode 34, Super Odd, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 8, Naval Assault, Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, episode 35, Oh, Badoom! Assassin's Creed 2, episode 9, It Had to Be Done, Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, episode 36, 40k Warrior Man's Cow, Nesquik, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 10, Virtual Pointing, and Conference Call, episode 1, E3 2015. Okay, now this week's episodes. Today, we have a Cup of Tea podcast, episode 47, 22nd of the 6th, 2015. And then later today, we have Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, episode 37, A Box of Kittens, 77's Cow, Meatloaf. Expect loads of references to the singer. Tuesday, we have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 11, Captain Tommaso Sauce. Wednesday, we have Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, episode 38, Horror's Cow, Minotaur. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 12, In the Colosseum. And Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, episode 39, Nick Pro's Cow Ezio is out on Friday. And we also got a video at the weekend as well. Okay, so, on to the update, I think. On to the updates. Yes, I mentioned quickly about my headphones. The usual headphones I usually use to record are broken. So I have to use my Xbox ones now, and they're like noise cancelling, so I can't hear my own voice really very well. It sounds really weird, so sometimes I often shout and I can't realise. So if I'm shouting, I apologise. Or if they're too quiet, I can't tell. It's impossible to tell. Yes, but that happened. But also something else happened. Now, I have been in the process of trying to edit, my settings, to try and change them to suit my own needs and make the videos a lot better. So, unfortunately, last week I was trying to do some settings and my rendering files got corrupted, which means when I try to use my video project, which has got my video and my audio all put together, and then I try to render it into one file, that's what the rendering is. And it took 15 hours to do one video, so I had to try and change them. So that's why everything was a little bit late, because I had to try and get the right settings again. So it was quicker, and I think I got them in the end, and I managed to sort of catch up by the weekend. But yes, unfortunately, that was why some videos were a bit late last week. I'm sort of okay with the settings I've got at the moment. I'm still not over the moon with them, so I'm going to try and play around again after I've done everything. I'm going to make sure I've done everything first, then I'm going to play around, so I'm not catching up. So I'll try and make some new settings, which I'll obviously let you know next week. So you might see a few more tests this week, and all that sort of stuff. Because of this new settings and stuff, for some reason... Oh no, this is something else. This is something else completely. When I was trying to render Harvest Moon episode 38, which is out on Wednesday, so for some reason at 57% in, it corrupted, and it said, stopped working, send error report. So I had to try and sort that out by doing different ways, different render settings, and then in the end what I had to do is I had to re-record part of the clip, because it was one of the clips that corrupted it for some reason, so I re-recorded that clip, and I think it should work now. I haven't tried, but it should work, because I mini-tried, but it should work now, so that's all done. And we're a little bit behind this week as well, because it's basically been really busy because of E3 and stuff, but hopefully next week we'll be back on track. But we'll talk about that later at the end. Okay, let's go on to topic now then. So, this week's topic is E3. E3 just happened. I basically want to talk about some of the big things I liked. I did do the video about it at the weekend, about everything, but I wanted to do some detailed ones on this podcast as well. Fallout 4, I think, was pretty amazing. The fact you can customise your own town is fantastic. The Fallout Shelter, the app that goes with it, is also amazing, where you can customise your own vault, and with a nice little art style, which I think looks fantastic. Sadly, Beyond Good and Evil 2, Michel Ancel has presumably left the project, which is sad. It doesn't mean the game's dead, but it means it's a step back in its production, which is bad, and we haven't heard anything, which is also very bad, but I don't know. It's very sad, that. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Before I saw Sony's press conference, I was feeling like, it's a bit too samey as the other ones. I want something fresh, refreshing, and new. I felt like that a little bit, but then we saw the press conference when they showed about Sony's, when they showed Evie Fry, the female companion, or the protagonist, and I think that's what's going to make this game a little bit fresher than the rest of them. Not really fresh, but better than the rest. Well, not better than the rest, but different to the rest. It's the fact that you're going to be able to choose between the two protagonists and you're going to switch between them in different story parts. I think that's going to be the sort of unique selling point with this game, which hopefully is going to be better now that I've seen that. But we'll find out. It does look very samey to the rest, but hopefully it'll be okay. Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, was my favourite of E3. Like, it's a new game, looks amazing. Tribal, there's robot dinosaurs and robot animals, and you get to hide in the bushes, you get to kill them, you get to scavenge them. Oh, it looks amazing. The story particularly looks very good. So yeah, I can't wait for those sort of games. Those are my favourites of E3, but I just wanted to talk about them. Next up is TV time. Right, so I watched a new series this week called Dark Matter. It's from the creators of Stargate, and it's very similar but yet very different at the same time. It is not very good. It's started off a little bit slow, I wasn't too sure, but I feel like as time progresses, I'm going to really enjoy it. Like the fact that you actually want to find out who these people are that you don't know at the start of the episode, so you try and find out before the end, then you do find out, sort of, and then it just goes on from there about all these different scenarios, like are they going to do what they were supposed to be doing in the first place? Yeah, it's pretty interesting to watch. I quite liked it, and obviously it's from Stargate, and I love Stargate. I think we rewatched Stargate about 3 times. So, yeah, hopefully I like this. But we'll see how it goes. It's early days yet, but we'll see how it goes. Game of Thrones finished. Episode 10 was it. It was done. And, the big death at the end. I don't think that character is specifically dead. I think he's going to come back somehow. Then again, I've said that before and they didn't come back, but I'm pretty sure, like this one is bigger than every other character. Like, there's 3 characters in this TV series that I think would never die. And I'm surprised one of them did, which is why I think they'll be back. And I think there is a particular lady that can bring him back, and we'll see what happens next season. Because obviously we don't know, because the books are not caught up. We're caught up with the books in that sense now, but yeah. And also, not Star Wars Rebels is not back. There was just that one episode which I watched earlier, which was pretty good. I liked it. I like the Darth Vader. I think that's the best interpretation of Darth Vader apart from the actual main Star Wars series. It is probably one of the best ones I've seen so far, which was pretty good, which is good. And obviously it's very, very good. I like it all. I like the Star Wars Rebels. But sadly it's not back until autumn, so it's a long way away. Okay, let's go on to community segment now then. So Mention Monday. These are the people that commented on last week's videos. I need to find it on my list though. Okay, so... Oh, by the way, this week's pictures, we've got Origami Rose, Loom Bands Loom, Chocolate Chips, Sibling Rivalry Set, Tree Leaf Picture, Pumpkin Brothers, History Bonfire Night, and Pizza Magnets, and TV and PC. Those are this week's pictures. Of course, there's not many from the actual Tricent video, because there was only one picture from the Tricent video at the weekend, which was the TV and PC thing, but sorry about that. Anyway, Mention Monday, these are people that commented on last week's videos. Right, so we have Horia, Mr. Dominic 98, Nick Pro, Dragonlord55511, Toby, Clinically Insane, and Glivglove. Right, so thank you for commenting, and I look forward to seeing you next week. If you want to get in Mention Monday or in the jar of names, which we did at the beginning of the video, just comment between now and Sunday. Right, okay, what's next? It is Q&A. Big Q&A this week. Got 3 questions. Nick Pro says, I got a podcast question for you. Will you consider making an intro or an outro? I'm guessing you thinking specifically for the podcast. For the podcast, I'm thinking yes. I have got something in mind for that. As for everything, like Let's Play videos as well, maybe not. Like, I'm not a big fan of that sort of stuff. But maybe I want to try and do something in the future where I'm going to get everyone to comment about what you think, where you want to go with this stuff, like where you want the videos to be taken and all that sort of things. But I want to try and catch up first, but that's going to be something on the list later in life. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be something big, which I hope everyone will get part of. But yes, I do have a podcast question, an intro in mind for the podcast. You also said earlier, I didn't technically get this question because I already covered it in a topic, but you said about why were those videos late. That was why the videos were late. I did mention in the update, Nick Pro, but that's why. Okay, so Dragonlord55511 says, hello Sir JDTwoSixTwo, I have a question and riddle for you. Question, have you seen or heard the British cooking show Two Fat Ladies or the history show The Super Sizers Go/Eat? Right, I've not heard of the Super Sizers Go/Eat, but I have heard of Two Fat Ladies. My question to you, Dragonlord555, have you heard of Two Greedy Italians? Because I like that show very, very much. And your riddle is, what kind of coat can only be put on when wet? Hint, you use this colour to colour your buildings. It's paint. As soon as I see that, coat when it's wet, I got it straight away. Yes, it's paint. It's paint. Right, Nick Pro. Podcast question, what do you think about Agario? It was in all caps because it was the caps that look on, blah, blah, blah. Didn't turn off the opposite. Well, actually, I didn't want to turn it off, but anyway. Yes, so the podcast question was Agario. I don't know what Agario is. I did Google it quickly before I did this podcast. I had no idea what I was watching. It was like circles with different words of titles in them, and it looked like some sort of cell game where the cells are taking over the other cells, and if you take over you lose. But it looked confusing, and I had no idea what it was. But yeah, it looks random. I'm sure you'll explain it to me next week. No, Nick Pro, so maybe we'll call that off next week in the podcast as well. Right, subscribers. This week's subscribers, we've sadly gone down one. We're now at 1,045, although we have gained another subscriber. This subscriber is Safe Kawame. So thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the community, all the team, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos. Right, last week's question was if you could tell me what you thought about the E3 stuff and what you thought, and Mr. Dominic98 did as well. He did a lot of comments about mainly the Bethesda stuff, so thank you, Mr. Dominic98. I've incorporated your name into the conference call video, which you may have seen already. You were in there. It was a long video, but you were in there. Right, okay, and this week's question is what... I suppose it's similar to last week, but it's more detailed, not less detailed. What was your favourite games from E3? My personally one, I think, was either Fallout 4 because it looked really good, but I think that everyone's going to say that. So I'm going to go with Horizon. What was it? It was Zero Dawn. That was my favourite, I think. That's the one I looked at most and really listened out for, and it was... yeah, that's my favourite. Horizon Zero Dawn. But what is your favourite game from E3 this year? Right, okay, what's next? This week's comment goes to Nick Pro, because he says he replied to Toby Clinically Insane. Hello Toby, welcome to our community. If you want to be on Mention Monday next week, comment on a video after this Monday, and I hope you enjoy JD's videos. Yes, I thought it was very nice of you, Nick Pro. Toby Clinically Insane has been around for a while. He comes and goes with comments, but whether or not he watches, I'm not sure. But yes, it's nice that you're sort of welcoming people that you've noticed are new or seem to be new. And yeah, I thought it was a very, very nice comment. So Nick Pro, well done. That's why you're this week's comment, because that was amazing. And this week's birthdays, there are no birthdays. If you have a birthday, let me know when it is, and I'll add it to the book, and I'll give you a happy birthday when it's your birthday. Right, we'll do it for time. 12 minutes, shorter than usual. Okay, so that's this week done. Sadly, the goals did not come into account because E3 was going on, and that was just mental, and just, yeah, sort of took up a lot of time. Plus, the rendering thing was bad, so obviously all these things happened. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and catch up this week. I'm not going to say play Skyrim, although I would like to. But I would like to sort of get ready for this week and get back on track. Like, I'm still ahead with the Try Something videos. I'll record next week's, so 2 weeks' time. The video that goes out in 2 weeks' time, I record this week as well, so I'm still ahead of that. So now I just need to make sure I edit up all the episodes that I need to do. Like, I think there's Assassin's Creed I need to edit for this week coming up. And then I've got to play through Harvest Moon to make sure I get to the right place so I know what's going to happen, sort of thing. And I should be up to date then. And then I can start messing around with settings and do all that stuff. But that's where I want to try and get to next week. Like, get back on track so we can start doing goals again. Right, hints. Last week's hint was related to the link to the video I did about the E3 thing, which of course was E3 video, which was pretty obvious. This week's, though, is a good one. The clue is 9 men doing a Morris dance. That's all I will leave you with. Right, but that is it. I would like to finish my cup of tea, but it is very hot, so I might save it, because I'm now going to go watch Mr. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, so I might have that while I'm drinking, but 1 second. No, that's too hot. I'm not even going to risk it. It's too hot. But yeah, that's the cup of tea done. Anyway, right, so until the next time we meet, I shall say farewell. And what film? Be a man, we must be swift as a coursing river. Be a man with all the force of a great typhoon. Be a man with all the strength of a raging fire. Mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Huh.